All right. We are live on YouTube. Let's go. Pop out chat. Cool. Copy and paste that. Post it in Discord. We got a lot of... We are almost there. All right, so announcements. I'm live on... Probably finishing up the Git course today on Boot.dev. All right, let's create an event. We're almost there. Oh, I got to change the name of it, though. Nope, I'm good. Web dev Q&A. All right. Are we good? I think we are. Let's put it in Discord. All right. $4:15. Do 5:30. We'll go past that if we need to. Create event. We are done with everything. All the steps, all the additional steps. Are we done? I think we're done. Setup is good. We're going to be doing Boot.dev stuff today. What's up, Jake? How you doing? Happy Friday for you as well. But it is still Friday. Not quite Saturday. How you doing, man? Okay, Boot.dev there. I'm still thinking about... let's go here. I'm still thinking about what I want to do for learning Angular and working on Twitch Sprout. If I want to do a separate day for that, and I just want to do Boot.dev a whole day, I don't know yet. I don't know. What's up, Anonymous? Big Fluffy? Oh, you're getting some snow, huh? Really? It's raining where I am. Quite good, but didn't do much today. How about you? I didn't do much work today. I had a long workout with a buddy, and just hung out with him for a little bit. Because tonight I'm going to be working. So this is probably when I start working for today. 4 p.m. I'm going to be working into the night. Pretty good, though. It's been a good day. I think we're good. Do we share screen? You're in guest mode. I don't want to be in guest mode. What do you mean? What happened to my login? Sign up with email? And as usual, we will have music on Twitch, but not on YouTube. Gonna relog into Boot.dev. All right, we are logged in. Oh, boy. We have... Oh, we're not finishing the Git stuff today. No, we got 2 more days of that. We'll do branching and merging today and then rebase and reset Monday, probably. What's up, Doe? Who's Doe? Yeah, I just try to shovel off some ice since it rained today. I really am thinking of hitting the gym. You should, Anonymous. You should. Working into the night is the best. Yeah, I like working in the morning if I'm not coding. If I'm coding, I like working into the night. It's how we say hello from Detroit, Michigan. Oh. Well, what's up, man? Not a lot. Just got done with a really long workout. What's up with you? I've never heard that before. Then again, I've never been to Detroit, so. I'm a nocturnal creature, so I can relate to that. Yeah. I like coding at night. I really don't like doing like the recording videos and all that at night. I used to be very nocturnal. Like that's switched. Is random fun? Cards, drafting, dice, mapped random from one. I have what is that question? Oh, you know what I should do though? Let's turn on follower mode. So you just gotta follow for 10 minutes. Really trims the conversation down, and we can unlock it when if we get rated or something like that. What's up, Paul? Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? Yo. We ready? I think we're ready. So by next week, I want to bring in song requests. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. So Twitch subs can do song requests. I'm going to import this playlist into... I got to figure out... Hopefully I can set it up easily. We'll see. But I'm hoping I can. It's the routing with the audio that's going to be tricky, but I think I can do it. Coding at night is great. Your editor, good music, get you into the zone for sure, man. And then, you know, for a lot of people, it's quiet. No one bugging you. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. All right. We have branching. Let me switch the audio to route it, just in case Prime decides to pop up with his mustache and teach us some stuff. I love your practical advice. I started learning WordPress development just to take my freelancing to the next level. Let's go. Maybe get a job. It's not my end goal, but at least it's experience. Yo, that's awesome, man. Yeah, WordPress is... I mean, it sounds like you're moving in the right direction if you want to consider freelancing, for sure. What I always say is, though, like, you can definitely get a little bit of experience, but that kind of leans more towards agency work. If you are looking for a more traditional front-end or back-end role, definitely build a capstone. Like, freelancing isn't going to get you depth of knowledge or depth of experience, but working on that capstone project, that big project that you're working on for months, a year, even, like that is... And I have a video coming out on Monday where I talk about that more. But freelancing is also an option. A lot of people don't even consider agency work. You know, where you just work for a company and they create a bunch of contracts with businesses or individuals to be able to build websites. And it's a different type of dev career for sure. There's a lot of different avenues to go down. Whatever floats your fancy. It's a sign that I'm getting old when I can't go to bed after midnight without feeling tired for the rest of the day. No. No, I mean, if you don't get sleep, you feel tired. No. It depends on when you wake up too, though, you know? All the jobs around me. There are a lot of PHP jobs. A lot of people underestimate that. Yup. And if you really want to go the PHP route, you really want to get good with WordPress, you want to go the freelance route, like, dude, like, deepen your knowledge there. Learn PHP. Get really fucking good with it. Learn Laravel. Build stuff with PHP. Like, you can go the PHP route, and there are a ton of jobs for you. You get really good with WordPress, you get really good with Laravel, you get really good with PHP. That's a sweet combination. Capstone project is just a project you spend a lot of time on, that you build up. Becomes a really complex project and a very valuable project. And again, I will have a video coming out on Monday to explain that a bit more. Getting a job is hard right now. I'm more locked into starting a company to build a SaaS, then freelancing is not going to help much, Gregory. If you're looking to build a SaaS, that's probably not the route you want to go. Please tell me, can I code or develop without Git or GitHub? You would want some sort of source. I mean, you could code, sure. But if you want a job, like, get comfortable with Git and most likely GitHub. If you want a job working with a team, you're going to have some sort of source control. What's SSC? I do like that capstone idea. Maybe I should spend a year work. I mean, yeah, and on the side, you could still do freelance and do the capstone project. And the capstone is really going to deepen your knowledge and show like the depth of knowledge that you have too. You're going to solve more interesting, more complex problems as that project gets more complex. Then you got to focus on like, how the hell do I organize this big ass piece of software? And like, whew, okay, now I'm forgetting stuff. Now I got to think about like, do I document things? How do I document things? How do I keep track of the issues that I'm trying to build? Like, it's a whole thing, and you get better with it. When you're just building, like, small freelance projects, it's surface-level stuff, you know? Isn't the agency space too saturated right now, especially with low or no-code stuff like Framer or Webflow? I don't think so, no. No, WordPress is still extremely popular. You still have a lot of PHP. Like, you can spin something up and kind of just solve people's problems with PHP really quickly. Yeah, the PHP world and the freelance world with custom stuff is very much an opportunity there. True, no matter... Oh, so if you... Well, yeah, it's like... If you always wake up at 7:30, then yeah, if you go to bed after midnight, you get less sleep. Yeah, you're going to feel tired. That's not being old. That's just being smart. That's all you're doing. You just want sleep. Nothing wrong with sleep. I don't know about you guys. I don't function well on sleep. Recommending Laravel to someone is based. Best framework, in my opinion. A lot of people like Laravel. But if you're going to go the PHP route, it's like... If you're going to go the PHP route, there are a lot of opportunities for you. But I do think there's a wicked combination with getting good with WordPress and Laravel. And I think people are sleeping on it just getting good with either. Because there are a lot of PHP positions and a lot of companies that might even have multiple applications, multiple projects, where you might be reassigned to like the WordPress one. A lot of times people are like, when their application gets a little bit more complicated, they want to branch off to WordPress. And that's when, you know, if you have that knowledge of WordPress knowledge and you also have knowledge like they want to move to Laravel or do something a little bit more custom, you know, you can kind of be that bridge. But PHP's a thing for sure. What's up, Dewey? How you doing, man? Is it okay to get hired by MNCs? What are MNCs? What's up, Ernesto? How you doing? Happy Friday. And if you guys have web dev career questions, feel free to ask in chat. I'm freelancing to just earn money to add capital to my company's bank account. To my company's bank account? Why? Oh, sounds like a unique strategy. Okay. I mean, fuck, just like work part-time, you'll make a lot more money for a long time than freelancing. If you just want to add money to your, like, you can do investments into your company, right? Like, work part-time and dump that money into it. PHP isn't going anywhere. Most of the internet, yep, PHP is not going anywhere. I guess I have a bias since I tried agency model in different space, but still, I guess you are right. Especially if you try to aim locally, many small businesses need good websites and are ready to pay for that. It's a different, the way you market yourself, the skills that you grow, it's very different than product work. A lot of people think they are interchangeable. They are not, which is why I highly recommend people reconsider working on freelance projects unless you're going for agency work. Yeah, and that's the thing. WordPress is the big one for a lot of the agency stuff. You know what I mean? For a lot of the freelance stuff, especially. All right. So I'm going to periodically check chat. If you have web dev career questions, you're welcome to ask in chat. We got a lot of really smart people here, but I will be happy to answer them. We'll go back and forth. We're going to get some Boot.dev done. For those that don't know, Boot.dev is a pretty much all backend course. Highly focuses on backend, which is why I love it. We've needed a strong backend course for a long time for self-taught developers. Scrimba is a strong one for front-end developers. We went through the whole Scrimba thing. I did a review on them. We're going through Boot.dev now. We're doing a review on them probably at the end. Flane still wants one. But we'll keep going back and forth. So we're going to be going through some courses, a lot of which are review. But again, like I don't rebase, so rebasing is going to be pretty cool to go through. I barely do that, so give us some knowledge. But what is a branch? A Git branch allows you to keep track of different changes separately. For example, let's say you have a big web project and you want to experiment with changing the color scheme instead of changing the entire project directly. As of right now, our master branch, you can create a new branch called color scheme and work on that branch. When you're done, if you like the changes, you can merge the color scheme branch back into the master branch to keep the changes. If you don't like the changes, you can simply delete the color scheme branch and go back to the master branch. All right, under the hood, branch is just a named pointer to a specific commit. When you create a branch, you are creating a new pointer to a specific commit. The commit that the branch points to is also called the tip of the branch. So we have commits, we have branch tips. Awesome. Just a tip. Because a branch is just a pointer to a commit. They're lightweight and cheap resource-wise to create. When you create 10 branches, you're not creating 10 copies of your project on your hard drive. So let's see what branch we are in. Master. Okay. Let's do it. I think this is a pretty good Git course so far. I haven't seen a lot of good Git courses. Freelance work is so different. People don't care about how clean your code is. They care if it works and doesn't break. Yup, pretty much. And they don't really think about like maintainability or scalability and it's not really their main concern, to be honest. But they don't think about like a developer that's going to build on it in the future. A lot of companies, when they're first starting out, they just want it built. Want their problem solved. Or they will just have like a internal team member like jump on it once it's already built and once the resources free up a bit too. Yeah, I do desktop support. Oh, okay, I'm freelance on the side. Okay, cool. I just want to make some money right now until I figure out my product. Makes sense. Again, like you can do freelancing. There's nothing wrong with that. In general, you're going to make more money with part-time work. Just a part-time job. McDonald's, stuff like that. I know you don't want to hear it, but DoorDash, just stuff like that. The North American market is pretty much Shopify and WordPress. Yep. Shopify and WordPress are big, at least in the US. I don't know about Canada. No one gives a shit if your app has the most beautiful architecture as long as it works. You'll get paid, for freelancing, Number of students unable to eat their lunch on time. Hold on. So, to hire by MNCs if I build and run projects live in the market. What? I don't know what you're talking about. So you said MNCs. I asked, what is an MNC? A number of students unable to eat their lunch on time. What do you mean get higher by number of students unable to eat their lunch on time? I don't think your messaging so far is coherent, SSC. Unless I'm missing something. I have no idea what you're talking about. I would just like reword the question. Do you prefer exercise over green tea or coffee? Do I prefer exercise over... It's like comparing apples to oranges. What are you talking about? I think your English is a bit broken. I think what you're asking is like, when I exercise, do I prefer green tea or coffee? Is that what you're asking? SSC, I'm trying to understand you, but I don't. Your English is a bit rough. It's my leak code 1100. I still have no idea what you're talking about. None of this is coherent, SSC. Like, none of what you said is coherent at all. I'm just not sure. What's up, Alex? Any chance of follow-up podcast post Boot.dev? Yeah, we could talk to Lane. Actually, yeah. What'll probably happen is he offered a paid review for Boot.dev, and if he's still offering it, I'll probably do that, and then maybe I can have him on my podcast to talk about it. Because in my review, you guys know me, I'm going to be very honest, and I do want to hear his feedback. I want to hear what he thinks about what I think of his program. Yeah. It'll probably be a pretty long review, too. Scrimba's was pretty long, but I had to cut Scrimba's off a bit. Scrimba had a shitload of bugs. Holy shit, did they have a bunch of bugs. And they're finally getting it cleared up, but... oh, man, that was bad. Scrimba was in a very bad state a little while back. But they are, like, really polishing that up and trying to get that smooth. That's why JS is so popular. Build fast, break things. If you're going to, for a startup, you can think about scalability and clean code once you have, yeah, 100%. Yeah. A lot of startups like JavaScript. There are a lot of JavaScript developers to hire too. I want to get into Shopify dev. Okay, cool. It's an option, man. It's an entire career. Shopify is an entire career. Tanuk, what's up? How you doing? You mentioned in the past that juniors JME need to know fundamentals. Yes, they need to know fundamentals. Okay, if someone wants to get hired as a permanent work from home software engineer, how one can? Like the same way you're applying to other companies, but you want to apply for companies with remote positions. What do you mean? Shopify is a really good company. And so we're not talking about Shopify the company. Maybe you're just like, that's a tangent for you, Dewey, but we're not talking about we're talking about using Shopify to build websites. What's your opinion on DeepSeek? Exciting time, if you ask me. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think the DeepSeek is better than O1, at least in my experience with a lot of things. But I'm a big knowledge person. I like talking to AI to kind of like, even like I was going over like hypnosis techniques and stuff like that. And it was like, it's very, very knowledgeable. It's like any topic you throw at it, it's very knowledgeable. But I don't have a code for me or anything like that. So I haven't tried that. Yeah, no worries, Dewey. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they like it. What if you are good at creating UIs but not so much JS, challenging logic style code? With Shopify, I don't know like what foundations you truly need for Shopify and what the expectation is, but I think the foundation, it probably pays less, right, than more traditional front-end roles, especially at first. But I like, just get better at JS. What do you mean? Just get better at it. If you're going to stick with the front end, it depends on like what you're going to be working on with Shopify too. Are there extensions you want to be building? Do you just want to set up a theme for companies? It really depends on like how deep you want to go with that. If you're struggling with it, just get better with it. It's nice having you go in depth without holding back, and I feel like Lane would listen to everything. Yeah, he would. He would, and he wouldn't take it personally either. I think he'd be fine with it. I think he'd be much more secure hearing negative feedback than like Scrimba would. I'm just going to be honest. I think Lane's a very different person, different type of leader. I have no worries about holding or not holding back with Lane. Scrubba likes to drink their own Kool-Aid. Scrubba really likes to drink their own Kool-Aid, and they're pretty good. Again, they're still one of the best front-end courses, but it's a different culture there. But yeah, Lane is a bit different. There was an article that tech lost $1 trillion in market cap after those Chinese models dropped. Yep. Dude, I'm all for AI being released open source. I know some people are concerned with it being misused, but I would rather it be available and misused than where anyone can misuse it and anyone can combat that misuse, than having it gatekept through certain companies. I fucking love the public models. I'm going to be much more supportive with AI if we continue open sourcing the models. I am all for it. Hearing critical feedback is not easy to begin with. It's not. No, it's not. No one likes critical feedback. You know, we all try to get better with it. I try to get better with it. You try to get better. No one likes hearing it, for sure. I do understand that. What's your full name? Are you on LinkedIn? I am on LinkedIn. Don Hansen. Do you work for foreign companies from your country? No. You can find the LinkedIn link in if you're on YouTube, on my profile page on YouTube, or my channel. If you go, like at the top, you do like more links or something like that, it'll drop down and it should have my LinkedIn. You can also find the LinkedIn in the video description of the live stream that you're watching. All right, so next one, let's go. Default branch. We've been using Git's default master branch. Interestingly, GitHub, a website where you can remotely store Git projects, recently changed its default branch from master to main. As a general rule, I recommend using main as your default branch if you work primarily with GitHub, as we will. How to rename your branch? Let's do it. I was wondering if we were going to stick with master or not. So Git branch. Okay, so M. I never rename a branch. Never. Okay, so Git branch M. Change your global Git configuration to use main as a default branch. Okay. Okay, then check your current branch. Okay, so we're not skipping ahead. We're doing, oh shit, Git. Config init default branch. Is it set? To set a local value, we just do config. Okay. Name and value. Got it. Okay. Thought there was like a set thing. Okay. So we have default branch to main. What is it? Okay, so we have main, and then we do git branch. It's still master. You should notice that you're still on master. That's because all you did was change the default branch for new repos. To switch this repo to use main, rename the master branch. So git branch. I wonder what M stands for. M to main. Nope. Master to main. Old name, new name. Okay. Let's go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So I didn't set it globally. Gotcha. How do we remove? Git remove config key value. Let's refresh. Unset. So git. I mean, this is local. Is this local? Git config. Oh, wait, did I type? No, I didn't mean global. Ugh. All right, git config. Is this local? Git. Oh my God. Hold on. Git config local list. That's a local. I forgot the different tiers. We have git config. So let's go back. Refresh. Config. Let's go. Setup. Where is it? Internals, maybe? Different hashes. Plumbing. Where was that graph? Tree storing. Locations. There it is. So we have work tree. We have local. If we do like git config this, what is this? Do you guys know? And I'll answer other questions in a second. But like if we do git config and we set a key here, like what is this? Is this the work tree? Yes, there's a config file, but right, we have a configuration for each layer. So we can set properties for each of these 4 layers. So what I'm asking is, when we don't specify local and when we don't specify global, what is this? Yeah, but you're not answering the question, Dewey. Might be local? Okay, so git config local list. We have core and init. We set a value when we did git config. And we set init default branch. Well, we could, I guess by default, we could just check, right? So if we did global, like a git config global. Here's our global stuff. That is like that is, I should probably change my git password after that. But global is, let me read this. It was actually specified. Locations. So system, file that configures Git for all users on the system. Global, a file that configures Git for all projects. Actually, hold on. I do want to check. But that's not what Dewey, I think you're just missing. You're not answering the question. Do you want me to repeat the question? So the question was, when we do this, we set a key here. What does that set it at? What layer? Okay. So we have git config local Where are we setting that at? It's not global or local. No, it is. Oh, it just dropped it to the bottom. I was looking at the top. Okay, so by default, when we do git config, init default, and it's going to be camel case, which is where we screwed up. That's all we screwed up. But it is local by default. Git config init default. So I just screwed that up. So we want init.default branch. So we want to unset that. You gotta remember the commands. Unset. Yeah, default is local. We figured that out because local takes the highest percent. But workspace does, not local. Workspace does. We have no unset. It's dash unset. Okay. So git config dash unset init default branch. Git config local list. So it's gone. Git config. So it is local. I just didn't see it because it dropped it to the bottom and I was looking for it, but it is alphabetized, I think. Git config init default branch is main okay, but it was probably checking the default value, and I think that's where we failed. So let's try this again. No. Main. Init default. Wait, did I do this? I literally did the same thing. I'm going crazy. So if I just do git config list, I should be able to see, but I see more. That's interesting. Okay, so let's just slow it down. Unset init default branch git config init. No, I have default. I've set it in 2 different locations. It's probably inheriting. That's what it's doing. So I think on a system level, did I set it? I think it's inheriting. So if I do local, oh my God, git config local list. It's not there. Git config global list. It is on global. So git config unset global init default branch git config. So this is going to be local. Set init default branch to main. Git config list. Cool. Dude, it's okay. I'm not insane. It is literally making it lowercase. Huh. Grep default brand. I'll probably change the password, yeah. I'll probably change it. It's hash, so I'm not worried about it for this stream, but I'll probably change it after this. Local takes the highest precedent. Yep. If I have to change it, I'll change it. No big deal. Oh, it's all good. I'll change it. All right. All right, so why are we getting this? It's making this lowercase. But it's saying change your global, which we have to set that anyways. Maybe it's supposed to make it lowercase. Um, actually, that's not a token, is it? That is hashed. Let me double check. Generate new token. Let me go through my auth flow. Well, fuck me. That was not hashed. Okay, that was a personal access token. That's cool. Just leaked that on stream. You had your chance to hack me. It is gone now. That token is destroyed. We are going to try what Dewey is saying. I'm going to have to re-authenticate. I mean, that token's destroyed. I'm going to have to re-authenticate if I want to do anything meaningful. Okay, I'm glad I double-checked that. I'm like, wait. That doesn't look like a hashed password. But what you're saying is, like, if I do git so this is a expired token. I don't care about this. Go to your Dewey. That's what I did. Yeah, I just deleted it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I said that was your chance to hack me, and I said that I deleted it. I was talking about the token. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, we're good. But we should still see it. So, well, now we can expose it, right? Now I don't care because we're not pushing anything. So we do global list. We just have an expired token. Oh, no, it's all good, Dewey. It's all good. I I do want to try what you said, though. Let me catch up on chat. I didn't think this would take this long. Let me answer some questions. Do you live stream on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time? I do, SSC. Master and main, what's the difference? It's just a branch name. You can choose whatever name you want. By default, like when you create a new repo on GitHub, it'll set it as main. It's just a name for the single branch you have with your GitHub or with Git. But you can name it whatever. Name it Lollipop if you want. Tell us some of your live website projects that you had worked on. Why? Where are you? What do you... That's weird to demand that. Let me catch up on Twitch. That tech lost 1 trillion in market cap? What do you mean by tech though? Just when company from a totalitarian country is more open AI than open AI, yup. Yup, exactly, Jake. Yeah, it does seem like it edits to local. I think it was somewhere in the course, but can't remember. Yeah, we found it. We found it. But it does look like it edits local. So we now have the default branch of main. The thing is that like it keeps making it lowercase. And it's like... Oh, it did work. Okay. We just didn't set it globally. And so if we unset here, config, unset, it's going to try to unset it locally, but I don't think it's going to affect this. I'm just going to try it. It's still there. Okay, perfect. All right, there we go. So after the list, so you're saying git config list grep default branch. And so you're just saying this. Okay, so to read the default branch, why do we have 2 now? What the... Not here, whatever. But we don't have to do grep. We can like look up a specific entry, right? We could do git config. We could just do init default branch. We could just do that. Oh, never mind. It was just 1 entry. It was just going to the next line. All right, so we could just do that. That's all you were saying. I thought like there was something with grep where it would exclude or something like that. I didn't even read the whole sentence that you said. Yeah, grep seems like overkill then. Regarding that this is the title DeepSeek Tech Wipeout erases more than 100 trillion in market cap. Okay, so just like within tech, you're talking about, so the market, so a lot of companies lost a lot of money. A lot of AI companies lost a lot of money. That's what you're talking about. That's where that 1 trillion comes from. I think a big one was NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA lost a shitload of money after DeepSeek was released publicly. Tech on stocks market lost trillion with tech stocks plunge. Yeah, Nvidia losing about 800. Yeah, Nvidia was the big one. That's crazy. grep means you just search for the text in the line consist. Yeah, but that's not. Why add a filter? That's overkill. This is better. I think you're just using grep for preference, but that's overkill. Like if we could just get a specific value by accessing the property directly, like do this. No reason to try to filter anything. What happened with Nvidia? Nvidia just lost a lot of market revenue. That's all. Because I don't even know. I didn't look too deeply into it. I actually don't know why Nvidia was affected a lot. What would the reasoning be? I haven't really been keeping up with Nvidia. I know everyone's like excited to get the graphics cards, but a lot of those were pre-ordered, I believe, or just sniped by bots. Nvidia doesn't have its own LLM. It's just creating hardware that can run LLMs. So why would Nvidia lose all of that? I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. I'm kind of curious. Visualizing branches. Throughout the rest of this course, we will use text to represent branches, commits, for example. A-B-C main means a branch called main with 3 commits. C is the most recent commit. Okay. The tip, B is the previous commit, and A is the commit before that. To represent multiple branches, we'll use multiple lines. Okay. Answer the question based on the diagram. Lane's branch, main, prime's branch. Which commits are part of Lane's branch? GH. Oh, well, it would be GH BCD. Right? HG B. No, this is the. Oh, no, that's the tip. No. Okay, yeah. H is the tip for Lane's branch. D is the tip for main, so it's HGBA. All right. Which commits are part of main? ABCD. Which commits are part of primes? AEF. New branch. Let's go. You should already be on the main branch, your default branch. You can always check with get branch. 2 ways to create a branch. Get branch, get switch, C. Okay. So this creates so get branch creates a new branch called, what do I usually do? Hold on. Oh, I know what I usually, so if I want to check out, I usually do get branch or get checkout be a new branch. Okay, so the thing is I rarely use this command because usually I want to create a branch and switch it immediately, so I use this command instead. So get switch is a bit newer, but why not just do this? Like, what is the difference? Get branch or get checkout. This versus get switch C. So it's switching to that branch and creating it. The switch command allows you to switch branches, and the -C flag tells Git to create a new branch if it doesn't already exist. When you create a new... Oh, right. If you do... So let's do git branch yo. And then if we do git checkout b yo, it already exists. But if we do git switch C yo, it just, oh no. So they're the same thing. You still get blocked. -C flag tells Git to create a new branch if it doesn't already. That's not what it does though. I mean, I guess it does if it doesn't already exist, but we get the error. So what is the difference between git checkout and switch? When you create a new branch, it uses the current commit you are on as a branch base. For example, if you're on the main branch with 3 commits, ABC, and then you run git switch, your new branch will look like this, ABC. Yes. Okay. I'll have to look that up. I'm unable to find why NVIDIA specifically, but I guess that might be caused since it was like 10 million to train DeepSeek, the company that produces the chips used to train those super expensive. So it's a different chip. Is that what it is? Maybe it's like a cheaper one? Okay. Yeah, OpenAI's expenses have been huge. And I do know the expenses of training that model. It was like, didn't they drop to like 6 million or something like that? DeepSeek did. I could see that. Realistically, DeepSeek paid around 1.5 billion to train it, was using NVIDIA cards to do so, even though officially China cannot access NVIDIA cards for AI work. People assume they train them with... Oh, how do you know that officially? Is there actual proof of that? But even if they paid 1.5 billion, it's still less than OpenAI. It's not, so it's an assumption. I'm asking for proof. I'm not asking for like, how do you know it's official or not official? I'm asking for proof. Is there any actual proof, or is it not? Is it just like partly assumption? What's up, Renee? How you doing, man? Happy Friday to you as well. How's your Friday going? What's up, Not a Hacker? How you doing? Difference between... Altman is going through meltdown, and some of the AI bros assume they not only paid more, but distilled the GPT-4. There's no hard evidence that this is... Okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I really, really hate assumptions, unless they're specified as assumptions. So I can know, for my learning, right? Okay, so there's no proof of that. This is the first I'm hearing of git switch. Yeah, I've never used it, honestly. But I don't keep up with stuff like I should. I haven't kept up with a lot of the new git commands. I had someone in my front end cohort that like swore by git switch. He's like, you guys should be using git switch. I'm like, okay, give me the reason. Why not? But like every time he would try to explain it, I'm like, this... I don't think I fully understood it, to be honest. Because in my front end cohort, I brought in someone that's... very good with the infrastructure, DevOps, server side of stuff. And he was like trying to convince everyone to use it. I'm like, I still don't think you've explained a good enough reason to use it. But there's an article. Has something to do with restore. The main argument for this was the operating on branches is logically different from modifying your working copy. So having a single command for both operations was not a good idea. Interestingly, the git checkout command was not born overloaded with such heterogeneous functions. Indeed, originally git checkout could only switch to a branch, optionally creating it if not present with the -b switch was given. And set a copy of the file from the index, the working copy. You could use git checkout index. At some point, though, git checkout was extended to support both copying a file from the stage index to the working tree as well as copying a tree-ish. Differentiating the three semantics was and still is a matter of juggling with a dash dash separator and keeping in mind that some argument combinations may alter your index, but not only your... This is a bit deeper than my knowledge goes, for sure. I think both are going to accomplish it, but it sounds like git checkout wasn't originally like... It didn't work like you thought it did if you were switching and creating a branch. That's my assumption. But git switch is specifically for that. But git checkout was extended to be able to do that. That's the idea that I'm getting. All right, I'm going to merge his PR and head out. This is fun. Good night. All right, take care, Dewey. Thanks for joining us, man. Hope you have a good Friday and good weekend. I'm not a Git power user. I Git, I commit, I push, and sometimes pull. The only annoying thing I have with Git is merging. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I was just curious. Okay. Creighton switch to a branch call. Okay, so we're on Git branch. Git branch delete, yo. Damn, we got pre-rolls already? Should have the same commits as the main branch. Git branch to verify you're on the new branch, and then we are going to run the test. So we're probably going to keep going for a while. Probably go into the merge stuff. But I want to run some ads to get rid of the pre-rolls, because fuck pre-rolls. One. I hate when the green tea gets cold. But next week, I'll talk about next week in a second. I think the schedule is going to change a little bit. The whole point of Git is to sync code. Then why is there so many steps? Because they could do a bunch of different stuff. Just because you use basic functionality of something doesn't mean more advanced setups won't use more advanced functionality. Like, it's fine if you don't want to go deeper, but it doesn't mean there's not a use case for it, you know? You got to, like, be open to the idea that maybe your workflow, maybe your use case is extremely limited. All right. I will come back. I'm going to share what we're probably going to be doing for next week, and then we'll continue pushing forward with this. So let's do a 3-minute ad, bathroom break, wash your hands, come back. We will continue pushing forward. And if you guys have any web dev career questions, feel free to ask in chat. All right. All right. There should be an option for more advanced stuff, but there should also be an easy way. That there is. What are you talking about? There is. Git goes a lot more advanced. Like, this is the easy stuff. Like, what, you want to create a branch and switch to it? That. Gonna switch? Just switch? That. If you want it easier, use GitHub Client. That's an option too. I don't know what aliases have to do with any of this. But yeah, this is the simple stuff. We're not going deep into Git. Just because you don't understand something and you don't really understand the breadth of what it can do, I don't think... like, is there a specific command you think should be simpler? Like, can you think of like an action you think should be simpler? And we'll go over the commands and... like, what action do you think should be simpler? Do you think creating a new branch should be simpler? Like, what do you think should be simpler? Be specific. GitHub Desktop is my one true lover. Yeah, just use the GUI, man. Like, if you don't want to get good with command line stuff, you don't want to like dig into Git, just use the GUI. That's what it's for. Like, if you're just trying to kind of... Man, the GUI makes it really simple. Actually, you have it like really, really simple. Yeah, just use GitHub Client. When, yeah, let's say I'm on a feature branch, a coworker pushed a new feature branch to origin without having to do all the checkouts and fetches. Without having to do all the checkouts and fetches. So what do you want to happen? To merge, so you want it to automatically merge into your local branch without you having to do anything. Is that what you're suggesting? What happens when you have merge conflicts? What happens when to do less, nothing? What? So what do you want to do? What are you talking about? Do you want it to automatically like merge his changes into your branches you're working? Like, I don't think you're being very specific or thinking this through. What are you talking about? So things that can happen is if you automate that, like, do you do it while you're in the middle of working through something? How you would go about merging a new branch on origin into your local? Yeah, just merge one command. What do you mean? You pull it from remote, because remember, GitHub is not like GitHub is kind of like, what do you call it? Like, it brings your source online. I knew that was coming. Agent 57, thanks for the follow. But like, it brings your code base online. So GitHub is not Git, right? So if your worker pushes it to an online resource, you got to pull that from that online resource. Are you saying you want it automated from that online resource, then it gets automated and merged into it? Well, okay, so we'll use GitHub as an example. It can be self-hosted or it can be GitHub, right? But we're still using kind of a common source where your coworker pushes their changes up. So you got to pull from that. And then you have to decide when you want that merged into your code. You don't want it just automatically merged in. So it's literally two commands. Literally, I mean, like you check out, you go to the main, you pull the recent main, and then you merge that into your code branch. How do you want it simplified even more than that, is what I'm asking you. Because you don't want it automatically merged with you, like you're in the middle of a workflow, and then all of a sudden you get code merge, it breaks a bunch of shit, and then you get a bunch of merge conflicts you got to deal with. Like, that's not an ideal scenario. That's not good. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what specifically, like, outline the actual workflow that you want changed, and like how does it look? Just what's your ideal workflow? Like if you could make up a command to do something, like what would that command be? You're not really outlining the steps that you want simpler or automated. You're not being specific at all with that. I really enjoy using Git in the terminal rather than GUI until I thought, yeah, until, yep, I agree with that, Renee. Until like we really screw up and it's like, oh man, I'm not liking the command line that much. That just defeats the purpose of localizing it. It's like, yeah, what are we just storing all of our files locally and we're just like, we're pulling them and we're creating like temporary files on our local system, but it's all synced up remotely? Like, what are we doing? The way I do it is probably unnecessary, and that's what I'm basing this on. I don't think any of us know what you're basing it on. But this is what I'm encouraging. It would be helpful for you to be more clear about what you are talking about. It would be helpful for you to because right now you're kind of just like complaining. You're just like, I want it simpler. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so what is your scenario? CPT Chica, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Right. Yeah, don't just come here to complain. Yeah, don't just come here to complain. Be clear about it. Because like we could talk through this and we could learn from it, right? Like what is your workflow? Exactly. What are you hoping to achieve? But I think a lot of it comes down to like, I think some people just need to get a little bit more comfortable with Git. And I am one of those people. And it becomes way simpler. And if you want it even simpler, like use GitHub Client. And then there are probably programs that will automate what you're trying to do as well. If you want it really, really simple, I think it's going to cause problems for you that you don't really know about. So the scenario, okay, cool. Okay, so the scenario I'm annoyed with is a thing like git checkout something, git pull, git checkout mine, git merge. Okay, so this is, okay, I gotcha, right? So we're on add classics, right? We got to go back to, so someone merge some shit into main. So what, do you want that to be one command? Is that what you're saying? So you're essentially, you want kind of an automated thing. I think that's what you're saying now. You essentially want to pull the latest version of main and merge it into yours with one command. Is that what you're saying? Because you probably don't want that automated. Sort of, yes, that's why I mentioned scripts or maybe an alias. Well, so that's a very unique scenario in which you could create a script for that. So what's the problem? I don't think that's a problem of Git. I think what you're talking about is you just have a specific automated workflow that you want to create a script for. So create a script. I don't think that's a problem of Git. I've used source tree as my GUI. Are there better GUI, source tree? I don't know. I've never used source tree. If you're using GitHub, just use GitHub client. What do you usually push to, Renee? I'm just thinking of it wrong. I get what you are saying. I think you are. I think you're looking. I don't think Git alone is meant to create those automated workflows like that. It will take you through a few steps to allow people to do what they want to, and they don't extend it with a bunch of like common automated workflows. I do get the use case for what you're saying though. And that would be convenient. So you could pull the remote and just update with one command. I think that's super convenient. And yeah, just write a script for it. That's what I would do. And I have to probably look up how to create a script for that, but I do get the use case for it. And now I understand what you're talking about. I appreciate you explaining that. Yeah, I just don't know if Git should have that extended feature. Because then we got to like agree on like what is a common use case. But that is a common use case. Someone pushed a change, you want it into your local branch. That's a common use case. Yeah, definitely check out GitHub Desktop. Maybe you would like that. It's not a Git responsibility. Yeah. I know, but I appreciate you clarifying. All right, let's move on. Switching branches. We talked about using git switch to change branches. There's another command that you'll certainly run into because it's been around for a long time. And older developers are used to it. Git checkout. OGs are used to it. I'm glad they went into that. Git switch is a newer command that is meant to be more intuitive and user-friendly. It's recommended to use git switch or git checkout for simply switching branches. To switch to a branch called prime, or the old way, we'll do to... Okay, so he doesn't really explain why. I mean, it's user-friendly, but like, give me a scenario in which it would be more user-friendly. All right, so we're going to do git switch, all right? Switch to the main. What if we do this? Already on main, okay. Run git branch to make sure it worked. It did. Switch back to classic. Git switch, add classics. Git branch, it worked. Let's run it. So switch is just an alias? I don't think it's an alias. I haven't fully understood it. It does something a little bit different. It does. I don't fully understand it yet. But git switch is newer. That's what I know. But I would have to, I think as I get more comfortable with Git, I'll probably look a little bit more into it and try to understand it better. Git config is a bunch of options, like automatically creates a remote branch. What's up, Chris? Okay. Okay. Who here likes Git? Can you type in chat? And who likes Git and who doesn't? I'm kind of curious because I feel like there are people that like do not like Git and there are people that love Git. And I'm kind of just curious who's a fan of it and who's not. I have issues pulling my project updates on another laptop. I end up cloning my damn projects. Okay. Pulling my project updates on another... Have you tried GitHub? I mean, are you not pushing it to a remote? What's up, low key? Don, learn it. Yep. Learning some Git. Yep. We're learning some Git. Not Bajagus at all. Thanks for the follow. Welcome. Git is cool. I enjoy Git. It does the job. Okay. What's up, Jeremy? What else am I going to use? Fair enough. Okay, so you kind of just get by with it. Git, the version control everyone loves or loves to hate. Yes, I think so. Jeremy, I'm kind of curious if you have the answer. If you could like simplify it, why would I use git switch over git checkout? Lane says it's more user-friendly, but like just switching branches, it doesn't matter. So I'm wondering if you like know a scenario in which it makes sense to use switch over checkout. What I've kind of discovered is like git checkout, it's just an older way of doing things that was extended to do what git switch does. But what are really the advantages of using switch over checkout? I like it. It's pretty easy to use considering how complex of a thing it solves. Yeah, and like a lot of the commands that you're going to be using, the basic commands, they're pretty easy to use. And I feel like it does go deeper and it can get complicated and you can get into sticky situations. But, you know, a lot of professional developers just kind of learned some basic commands with it and I got by for years with that. You just really need a few commands. Oh, you pushed to GitHub. Oh, okay. You had issues pulling. Okay. Yeah, try GitHub client or the GitHub desktop and see how you like it. That, and if that's, excuse me, that, and if that's the case, then why not make an automatic command for the scenario I was talking about? That, and if what's the case exactly? I think it's a common scenario. Like if you want Git to create commands built into it for common scenarios, you could do that, but it's not meant to pair a bunch of, I think it's unique enough where it's like, I wouldn't expect that to be a default Git command. If I don't know, if switch and branch are basically the same. I don't think that has anything to do with the scenario you were talking about, though. I think it's still a little bit more granular. I don't think it, like... I use checkout when I'm creating a new branch. That's what I do because it's ingrained in my fingers, but a lot of the new Git commands are more intuitive for newer users. You basically gave me a reason to keep using git checkout instead of git switch. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'll never get it. I'll never understand it. Up-leveling our abilities. We'll use the add classics branch to add a commit to the project without affecting the main branch. We'll be creating the following branch structure. Cool. The add classics branch will have all the commits from the main branch plus a commit. Okay. So switch to add classics, create a new file, touch classics.csv. At the root and copy and paste the following content into it. Wait, did I did get, yeah, never mind. Okay, I'm good. Stage and commit the new file. D for done. And then run git log. Yep. Okay. So we are good. Wait, what? Oh. It just showed it as red, so I was kind of confused. All right, run and submit the CLI test, and we are good. Run. Let's go. All right, we're going into merging. We ready for this? But yeah, happy Friday, Jeremy. How you doing, man? Oh, not a hacker. I feel like I see you in a lot of other coding streams. I know you've been here before, but I do feel like you're one of the few people that I recognize in other coding streams. Git checkout is Swiss Army knife. It can work with pretty much everything that Git can track. So Git checkout is capable of a lot more. It was extended to basically do what Git switch is doing, but Git switch just does something more specific. I guess I'm wondering if it's like more optimized to use switch in some way, in any way that's going to be like practical or like have a tangible benefit. I'll check out GitHub client things. Yeah, for sure. It's called GitHub Desktop, though. No, it doesn't, but if you're just going to throw stuff in, and I'm not saying that's what they did, just if that is the case, my scenario deserves... Okay. Well, you know what? Not a hacker. You know what you can do? I bet you in the repo, you could start a new issue with the feature request. Or not create a new issue, but like they might have feature requests. You know what? Write a good reasoning for them to include your command. You bounce around a lot? Okay. Git checkout can pretty much give care at X, Y, and file Z at commit W. Give you. What does that mean? But Chavalane Alloy, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome. can give you character at X, Y, and file Z at commit W. So you're saying you could check out different commits, but get yeah. So it's a Swiss Army knife. You're right. You could go very specific with it. But again, why not just use git checkout B? Like if you're creating a new branch and switching to it, what is the advantage of using switch over git checkout? That's still my question. I don't think I have an answer to that. Calling yourself a JavaScript survivor, I don't like that at all. No, why not? I'm good. Cook chicken tacos for dinner. Yo, that sounds good, Jeremy. The other thing I could think about with checkout, I can also check out to a specific commit. Yeah, checkout does more, for sure. Maybe it's just like, I have this like narrow way of thinking. If I'm just comfortable with checkout, of course I could just use checkout. There's nothing wrong with using checkout. I just, besides it being a newer command, I want to have a good reason to use switch. But maybe I'm just being stubborn about it. I don't know. Git switch is recommended for branch operations due to improve safety checks. What safety checks? Now we're getting somewhere. What safety checks, though? What's up, Parody? How you doing, man? There isn't an advantage necessarily to using switch over checkout, but if you are teaching new users, it will probably be easier for them to teach them switch. You think so? I don't see why. I'm not seeing it. That's all right. I'm not seeing it so far. The only thing that I can accept is like what Parody said. There's improved safety checks, whatever that means. I'd like to know those safety checks. But just because it's newer, I don't know, man. Like if I teach developers how to do that, I don't have a good reason to use switch over checkout. I just don't. Especially if I don't know the safety checks. See, now that's what I mean. I let my assumptions of what is defined how I thought it worked. Oh, I let my assumption of what it is define how I thought it worked. I'm open, though. If you look at the help text for checkout versus the help text for switch, one way more overwhelming. That's a good reason. Okay, so you're saying git checkout. Git. What would it be? Well, we're trying to... No, we can't do that. Can we, like... Is there, like, a specific manual for... How would we do it? Like, manual git checkout? Can we do this? The entire git manual. Okay, no. There's not something more specific locally we can look at for checkout, I'm guessing. Git checkout. Okay, checkout. Thank you. Yeah, I should have tried that. Damn. Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. Jeez. Okay. It is a bit bigger. That's a decent reason. I know. I like this song. It's a good song. Thank you, Captain. Oh, it's Captain Chica. If I were to make a git command to do what I was describing, though, I'd probably call it git probe. I don't know if I would agree to that name. But hey, to each their own. Yeah, a bit. I appreciate it. I won't get stuck here. It probably makes sense, like, if it's recommended for switch, and it does seem to be highly recommended, very specific for that task, I'll probably recommend using switch. Because I'm even thinking about it, like, if I'm teaching developers what to do, I do want to teach them the right way, but I like having the reasoning behind it. Taking something from somewhere else and learning about it and using it. You're basically using it for yourself. You talking about probe? The biggest valid complaint about Git is that its UI, UX, especially in the older commands, is not the greatest. Okay. All right. Oh, shit. We got L9 and L10. Log flags. As you know, git log shows you the history of commits in your repo. There are a few flags I like to use from time to time to make the output easier to read. The first is decorate. It can be one of the short, full. So short is default. Full shows the full ref name, and no shows no decoration. So that's default. Oops. What? Oh, decorate equals full. What's the difference? What? Shows a full ref name. The full ref name. Okay, gotcha. Add classics. Refs heads, add classics, ref heads main. Okay, gotcha. So that's the only difference. You should see that instead of just using your branch name, it will show the full ref name. A ref is just a pointer to a commit. All branches are refs, but not all refs are branches. Cool. We run git log decorate equals no. Okay, so no refs. See that the branch names are no longer shown at all. The second is one line. This flag will show you a more compact view of the log. I use this one all the time. It just makes it so much easier to see what's going on. Git log one line. Damn. That's pretty clean. That is pretty clean. So you only need the first 7 characters. I do remember that. That's clean. Look at that. That's beautiful. Devs have been slowly fixing it with newer commands. Okay. Fun story. I know some of the Git and HT devs personally used to work on them. You mean with them or on them? Oh, on the commands you used to work with? Or used to work on the Git commands back in the day? Tags are also kind of a ref. What would a tag be? Switch versus checkout. Merge the current branch into another branch and switch to it as support. To it is supported, not so with checkout. Merge the current branch into another branch and switch to it. What are you talking about? Merge the current branch into another branch. That is already created, you're saying. That is supported with switch. Okay. So switch has something where you can, like, a flag where you can merge it, is what you're saying? Also, search for a branch in the remote repository if it's not found in the local repo. Are you just copying and pasting what you're finding? Are you just copying and pasting that? But like I'm specifically talking about creating a new branch in. So we're talking about like Git. I'm not saying Git switch and Git checkout are different and can't do different things. I'm literally talking about using Git switch C and then branch name to create Git checkout B branch name create. Why is it recommended to use Git switch there? Okay, that's the article on the differences. I do think there are differences. I think if I could be more specific, I am talking about creating and checking out and switching to that branch, but also just switching to the branch too. I'm wondering why git switch is recommended for that. I used to work on git. Oh, and I don't know what HG means. At Google Code that. Okay, very cool. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. That's a cool history, Jeremy. There's also a reason I have no contributions for Git. Oh, gotcha. You don't like Git. Okay, fair enough. It seems like you don't like Git that much. I like almost anything if I get more comfortable with it. Like almost anything. I think this is all fun. This is all super fun. And I used to not like command line. But I find like every single thing in programming that I didn't like before, I think I just wasn't that good at it. That's what I'm finding. Maybe that's not true for you guys, but I do feel like I like a lot of stuff in programming the more time I invest into getting better with it. I don't know what mercurial means. VCs that didn't win. That's probably why I don't know what it means. Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. Switch cannot restore working tree files. Use Git. It's really the only option. I know it's not but common, but it just feels like a necessary step. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You don't like Git that much. Nah, I have Java. Okay, so maybe we got to learn Java one day and test my theory on that. Like, that I'll like anything that I learn. Maybe. I don't know. I like PHP. I learned PHP, I like JavaScript, learning Python. I like all three. I don't really have any hard opinions. The only opinion I have is Rust. Just because because of the furries, that's it. I think that's the only language I shit on. And I'm not even serious about it. But maybe I'll hate Java. Who knows? I'll learn it one day. All right, so we have the second. Okay, so run git, git log decorate. No. Okay. Yep. Second, git log one line is one thing to use. We did that. Run git log with a full decoration. Git log. By default, it is a short, so. Decoration full. Now we copy and paste this. Let's go. Oh, man. I did a back workout today and my back is sore. Damn. Once again attacked with a furry badge. These days I use Jujitsu though. It talks Git, but is a lot better. The best log flat is git log graph. All right, here we go. We'll try it. Maybe you gotta, I don't know. Do you think not a hacker would like JJ Jujitsu or Jujutsu? Sorry. All right, so git log graph. Why is that better? Because there's a red line. I would learn C++ over Java if you're thinking about getting into Java. I'll probably just try it. I'm not thinking about getting into anything. I just want to learn different stuff. I don't know. It depends on why he doesn't like Git. Because he thinks there are too many commands to use for what he wants to do. He wants to use it for basic functionality. He thinks probably there are too many steps. That's what he said. Like, he would like the idea to, like, if one of his teammates pushes up code into the main branch, merges that in, he wants kind of a single command to pull. Like, he wouldn't have to switch branches, but he pulls into main and then merges his main into his branch. Oh, if you have multiple branches, graph will show how they are forked off of each other. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I can recommend Java, but you need IntelliJ. There's a free community version of it. Okay. All right, let's move on. Git files, Kung Fu, no Git Fu. Remember, Git stores all its information and files in the Git subdirectory at the root of your project, even information about branches. The heads or tips of branches are stored in the Git refs heads directory. Okay. If you cat one of those files in that directory, you should be able to see the commit hash that the branch points to. Okay. One of the files. Or no, ls all. Okay, so we have two folders. Add classics. Or is that a file? That's a file. Okay. So cat add classics. You should be able to see the commit hash that that branch points to. So we got the commit. And it just shows the head. Okay. All right, cool. Makes sense. Git refs heads. Use find and cat to find the commit hash that your main branch. Use find? Find. We never learned find. Did we? Okay. The commit hash that your main branch points to. What does that mean? I mean, let me read this. The find command in Unix, like system, searches for files and directories based on their names, not contents. It allows for precise file searches using exact names or patterns. So can we just... Okay. So can we do... What are we supposed to be learning here?
Look at my horse is amazing.
Angeled? Is that what you're trying to spell? Thanks for the follow. Welcome. I kind of just want to know what we're trying to do. We are already in heads. I don't see the use case for find. I'm going to try reading this again. If you cat one of the files in that directory, you should be able to see the commit hash. Use find and cat to find the commit hash that your main branch points to. So why can't we just do... Why don't we just do that? Yeah, I appreciate you not backseating. I would appreciate if anyone kind of like understands this better than I do. Why would we need find here? It looks like Oh, we have to do dash name. I mean, so if we like, do we got to go out of here? Like, what are we doing? Find. Probably search within here. So we do find name main. Oh, okay. In a big project, there are a lot of files in head. Find can help you find it quickly. Okay. So that's okay. Gotcha. Okay. So CD. But why would we need to find it quickly? Why wouldn't we just do like, if there's a lot of files in head, would we not just like have it autocomplete? I get that find can be useful. Why is it useful here? Like, why wouldn't I just, like, if I want to print the file, like, when I just autocomplete? Like, let's say we had like 500,000 of these. I guess would it just give us the path that we can then cat into that? Like, it would just narrow down the list a little bit rather than leaning on autocomplete. But I see your point though. If it's really long, trying to, I just use autocomplete. I don't know. Java is amazing, especially newer versions of it. Do people just like love or hate Java? I'm wondering. Because I do feel like I get both sides of that. No one is like, it's all right. It's like they like it or they don't. They're not neutral with it. They might be working toward helping you script something. Maybe. All right. So what is stored in the getrefs heads directory? One file for each commit containing the branch that commit belongs to, one file for each branch containing the commit hash that the branch points to, containing the commit hashes at the branch. Okay, here we go. That's it. It's just so slow compared to the other strongly typed languages. Do people like Java because of its scalability and its ecosystem? Just like well-supported ecosystem? Java hater here? Okay. The same way people love, hate furry, I mean Rust. Java is not slow. You don't think it's slow, Jake? It's not slow at all? Okay, it looks like people on Twitch are saying no, it's not slow. I just think all Java would teach you at this point in your career is classes, and C++ is that, plus you'll learn how to manage your own memory. We're going to be doing that with C for sure. It's pretty fast. Grel, VM. Really? Why do you think it's slow, Commandos? I think we're going to chat for a bit. I don't think I'm going to go into... So we completed branching. We'll go into merge probably on Monday or something like that. Let's chat for a bit. I'm happy to chat with you guys. Let's have a good conversation. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anything fun? You working on any cool projects? And, you know, if you are trying to become a web dev, feel free to ask questions in chat. Compared to C or C++, it's like, well, that's pretty low level, though. Java sits in a sweet spot for fast enough with garbage collection. Okay. So Java's garbage collection. If you are comparing it to C, then you think it's slow. If you are comparing it to Python, you think it's fast. Oh, okay. Well, So Commando's argument is like, why not just do C++? What is the argument against that? That's his argument, essentially. Java has garbage collection, which means it cleans up memory for you, which takes time. But so Commandos is like really pushing C++ over Java. What is the argument against that? Everyone who say, I hate this, it's so slow, never worked with a thing. I feel that way. I feel that anyway. You're probably not going to notice the speed. I think a lot of people that worry about speed are never going to build anything where that speed matters, which I think is silly. So I care way less about that. I care more about like how maintainable and scalable is the application. What's up, Livestream? How you doing? It's like, is it a maintenance nightmare? Java, admittedly, probably good for devs. I was a sysadmin and had to clean up the mess from Java updates. Had to clean up the mess from Java updates? Okay. So it is good or not good? If you had to clean up the mess. Just started learning event sourcing. What is event sourcing? Comparing anything to C++ will be slow. Yeah, I feel like you chose something pretty damn low level. It's like slow. It's under 1 millisecond. Yeah. I don't think it's in any tangible way it's going to be slow for what you're building. C++ is a trash fire of memory unsafety. Java gives you much safer code for fast enough. Okay. If you want C++ level speed and the same safety, then you want Rust. Oh, interesting. What do you think the chances are that we start coding in Rust in 2025? After all the crap I've given it. Oh, and that's where Java shines. It's very scalable, and if you know what you were doing, it's highly maintainable. Unless your company is still using Java 8 in 2025. That's good to know. This is cool. I appreciate you guys kind of sharing your perspective on it. I'm learning more about it. Why does everyone like Rust so much? Can you answer that? Like, we'll put the furry jokes aside. Why do people like Rust so much? I doubt it's because of the speed. I highly doubt that. Jeremy said something I totally agree. Rust is really the best choice if you need speed and safety. Okay. Because nobody works it professionally, Kappa. What do you mean? Oh, because you think people would not enjoy Rust if they used it professionally. Is that what you're saying? Rust is just TypeScript for C. Why do so many people like Rust so much? Rust is like a collection of the best features from programming languages theory from the last 30 years. Okay. Enumerated types and pattern matching. Mainly because of the tooling for me. Compiler tells you exactly what is warn G. Wrong. Okay, you meant wrong with your code. You don't like it? You hate it? Why do you hate Rust, Captain? Okay, so programmers generally have a good time coding in Rust. They enjoy it. It solved a lot of problems that other languages hadn't solved, is what you're saying. Or had to extend to solve. As a systems admin, I never had to clean up anything from C, C++, but often environment domain updates were difficult with multiple Java programs. Problem is not all program apps devs update their Java at the same time, and using wrong Java environment can tank all apps at once. That sounds frustrating. I can see why you hate Java. I could definitely see that. Okay, so it sounds like Rust just has like commonly agreed practices. It's fast. It has type checking. I can see why programmers like Rust. You will die on this hill. That's cool. Yeah, I think you really like C++, Commandos. But Commandos, I don't think you're going to see any tangible benefits from like using C++ versus Java in the apps that you're building. And I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think speed is a good argument for it. You're just a Java hater. Okay. Hey, listen, I appreciate the honesty. That is totally cool. I appreciate the honesty. Except for video games, of course. All right, Commandos is a Java hater. But you know us, we like to dig into this stuff. I want to figure out exactly what it is. What people like about it and what people don't. I'm more interested in this stuff now. I find that I'm just interested in a variety of stuff. I'm just way more curious now that I'm like kind of moving away from JavaScript a little bit. I'm way more curious about this kind of stuff. I do feel like I was kind of locked in to a very limited mindset as a front-end developer that wanted to get a lot better with JavaScript. But I feel like my mindset is shifting, which I really like about learning backend. I do think like learning backend it just gives you a different perspective of things. And the way front-end is taught, you are learning programming in a very different way in the front-end. A very different way. A lot of this is very browser-based. What can you do to change things at the browser is very different than diving into system stuff, diving into like you don't really care about all the gripes of JavaScript. You just learn it. All you're doing is just like piecing libraries together. All you're doing is learning good conventions within JavaScript, within CSS, but you're kind of just like locked into a very templated cookie cutter way of doing things that 10 other languages have done differently. I don't know. I think my dissatisfaction with JavaScript came from React for sure, but also Node. Building backends with Node was not fun. I don't think it was that interesting. I don't think it was that maintainable. Like I've been in the backend of my other companies, especially my third company, and it was very different than the second company and how we did things in Node there. Like having to onboard people into your kind of like custom conventions and way of doing things because it's the Wild West is not, you waste a lot of time doing that. I really love the idea of learning Angular. I really love the idea of like getting comfortable with Nest or even Java with Spring Boot or just something, or Laravel, just something where you could bring on developers that kind of like, I don't know, can just agree on things. I like the discussions. Fuck, like arguing. I remember having a whole ass meeting for this, but we had a meeting at one of the depositions I had about like we were building the custom CSS grid before we could use CSS grid because it was really new at the time. It wasn't that well supported. And so we built our own custom grid. And like just the argument, an hour-long conversation of using min width versus max width for a lot of the media queries. An hour-long conversation about it. I'm just like, what are we doing? This is... I guess it was necessary. There was a good reason to have the conversation, but it was so uninteresting. Yes, and database stuff in the back end. Man, I'm getting stuffy. All right, let me catch up. Hold on. All right. I worked with a partial set of source code, and there's some drama relative with Rust in said source. Okay, fair enough. So that's why you don't like it. Yeah, it's really making things easier for low-level programmers and speed or safety critical systems. Sounds like Rust is a bit safer. What kind of stuff do you usually build? We are working on Twitch Sprout. I build web-based apps. What I'm building, we're learning other things outside of JavaScript, but I still am going to push forward with the JavaScript Node app, Twitch Sprout. That curiosity is really what makes me go with coding. There's so many cool stuff you can learn and so many perspectives. Yeah. It's something like to keep my mind interested for 20 years, you know? Oh, wait till you try PowerShell. Everything is an object. Laters. All right, take care, Parody. You'll turn to the dark side once you start using PowerShell on the back end. Isn't PowerShell on the back end? I thought PowerShell was a Windows thing. Piecing the libraries together, that is the most accurate description of modern web that I believe is making a lot of bad devs. Yeah, I 100% agree. I could feel myself being stagnant by just learning the APIs of different frameworks and libraries. I could feel myself just becoming stagnant. I wasn't growing as a software engineer. And I was recommended by a really good CTO for my first dev position to go down a specific route. He recommended really good books. Pragmatic Programmer back then was really good, and some systems architecture book. There were a couple of others, but I should have listened to him. And as a front-end developer, you don't really have to become a good software engineer. You don't. You just don't, in my opinion. I think that does say a lot about front-end. I don't think there aren't good software engineers that aren't front-end developers, but you don't have to become a good one. I feel like back-end you do. I typically use Angular, depends on the project. I'm looking forward to learning Angular. Next week, we are diving into Angular, by the way. The Java JIT is pretty good for a server. You blow past the warm-up time pretty good. So Java is used for a lot of long-lived processes. Okay. Backend dev is very different world from the browser. Yeah. Thoughts on Svelte? I haven't really used it. I've just heard good things about it. I haven't used it. Honestly, there are plenty of bad backend devs too, are there? Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't really know the backend world. Okay. They don't know how to code. They only know how to glue together some random shit someone told them to glue, and that's about it. Yeah, it is. It's looking up a lot of APIs. You don't have to be that good with JavaScript. I mean, I think the bar has risen, and a lot of developers that did get laid off. A lot of people want to think that layoffs are random, and sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't as well. And there are a lot of developers that are struggling, and as I've looked at their skills and their portfolios, I haven't looked at a lot of mid-level software engineers, but they were well below me. There were a lot of developers that got laid off that were well below where I left off. Or well below where I am now with front end. I'm talking about well below. They're at a junior level. They weren't mid. I don't know why they convinced themselves they were mid. But there are a lot of front end developers like that. I don't know as much about the back end and how, if I didn't know the skills of any of the back end developers on the teams I worked with, but there are a lot of front end developers that just aren't that good. And some they're just not that good. I don't think I'm that good at front end. I think I could get way better with JavaScript alone. One thing stuck with me from somewhere, can't remember, was it's not what you can take away from a website to make it look good on mobile, but what you can add to make the desktop site look better. So you're essentially talking about kind of a progressive enhancement approach where it's let's put the minimum on the page, let's have it practical for mobile, and then let's build on that to create a better desktop experience. I've been working with front end and back end apps for a while now. Lately been looking more about server-side rendering to skip the JavaScript stuff. Server-side rendering. What do you mean? To skip it? Are you assuming server-side rendering is where you don't have to build a backend? Are you talking about serverless? Or are you talking about you had some custom server-side rendering thing? Or what do you mean by that? I'd say there are a lot of bad devs, not specifically backend or front end. Yeah, you guys might be right. I know the front end a little bit more, so I might be biased with that. I'm shit still, but doing what I can to level up. It's all about that. Man, I did not have this mindset 2 years ago. I really did. I didn't think I was going to continue being a dev. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just do this content creation thing. And I did put dev stuff on the side a little bit. I did lose interest in it. But again, I don't think I was... I've talked about this in the video. I don't really think I was myself the last 5 years, if I'm being fully honest. Basically, mobile first. Yeah. Mobile first approach. Jokes aside, Rust is a fine language, but I hate that the leaders of Rust brings politics into programming. Yeah, it's garbage. Yeah, fuck that. I think that with frameworks, I think that with libraries, like keep politics out of your docs even. Stop it. Just stop it. I think that it's a turnoff for a lot of people. All you do is divide people. Obviously, politics divides people. That's why I don't talk about politics on live streams. I might make like a shit post on LinkedIn, or I think I like did that video just to trigger a bunch of people. But like generally, it does divide a lot of people. So when it comes to the community, our Discord and our live streams, I generally keep it out of it. But yeah, I hear Rust is very political. And I think that's a big turnoff for me. It's like, I don't care if like you lean conservative or progressive, like just stay the fuck out of my dev tools. Like we could just be kind to each other as a community. We could support each other. We're going to have different cultures. Why do we have to inject politics into everything? Ignore them. Yeah, that's the solution. You're right, Jeremy. You're right. I think I would like Rust if I did, because that's another reason I haven't really talked about it, but there are a lot of the Rust community seems to get really political. I don't really care for that. How the actual F can a programming language be political? It shouldn't be. The language itself isn't. It's only political if you try to participate in the discourse. That's fair. That is fair. That's a bad thing about Rust Foundation, but I really don't care about shit like that. I'm coding what I like, and that's it. That's awesome. That's a good reason to use it. Yep, that's the mindset to have, for sure. Talking about making the HTML in the backend and give it to the browser. Okay, so you're talking about server-side rendering, literally. Okay, the browser is basically a dumb client with a little no logic. All the logic's on the server. I don't know. Clients are pretty heavy. Depends on what kind of logic you're talking about. Like the web was before. So you're not talking about SSR, server-side rendering, in terms of like SPAs. You're talking about hold on. Okay, when you say server-side, when I hear server-side rendering, I'm thinking like server-side rendering for SPAs. Zambon, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome. Which I don't think that's what you meant. I think that was just my own bias in interpreting that. What you're saying is like just toss up a template, right? Right, like you could have like a template system, like something Django would have, or I think Laravel has. But you're talking about like stay away from the SPAs, stop creating these overloaded clients, and just like do what we did a long time ago and just kind of serve it, usually through a templated system to give you some customizability and maintainability. But do that and just render everything from the server, set it off to the client. That's what you're saying. And I get that. Okay. Read a lot of Rust in my personal stuff. Personal time is fun. Maybe we write Rust in 2025. I feel like, so we're going to be going through the Boot.dev stuff. And I feel like we... I do feel like we're going to get pretty far into this where I think it could start changing my perspective on things. And I might like get curious and experiment more, but dude, the Boot.dev stuff is just fun. We're going to keep going through it. We got a lot of Python to go through because we are finishing Git. And then we have, let me actually just close the personal access tokens. Here, let me do this. We have Git, and then we're doing Python. We're going to build this maze solver, and before we jump into... Hello? What just happened? Before we jump into C, we're going to probably build something with Django. We're going to learn Django and build something with it. We'll probably build like a community project or something like that. I'm pretty excited for that. You can even throw in HMX there to get some interactivity in the client. Yep. You can. To avoid loading the whole page every time. I don't think it's... So, I had someone try to make an argument, and I'm like, show me a public repo of like, 10 plus people working with HMX and not stepping on each other's toes. Like, I don't think it's that scalable, and I don't think it was meant to. What I don't like is backend developers trying to convince people, and I don't think a lot of them do, but backend developers trying to convince people that like, some basic templating system and HTMX, you just combine those and you could like run a company with like a team of like dozens of developers. Bullshit. Fuck that. No, there is a reason why SPAs exist. There's a reason why full-fledged frameworks on the front end exist. This idea, I don't know. I just hate how things are marketed. That's always been my issue. And I do think there's a lot of false marketing for HTMX because backend developers just hate front end. Why can't we just be real with the conversation and just call out HTMX for what it is? It's you as a backend developer, you want to spit up a UI. Like, why the hell are you learning React? That's another on the opposite end. Like telling backend developers that they need to learn JavaScript, get really good with JavaScript, get really good with CSS, and like they need to be able to build a UI because they're not going to be hireable. It's like, what are you teaching these backend developers? No, backend developers do not need to be good with JavaScript and CSS. No, there is a full stack route that you can go. You can do that. That's a different route. But like trying to convince backend developers that they got to dive deep into an SPA, like, come on. That's also false information. These tools, but both are useful. But I do think a lot of people who are frustrated with front end that don't care to get into front end would really like HTMX. And maybe we build something with HTMX down the road. Rust will stretch you in more ways than just doing backend. If you want a gentler intro into backend compiler languages, you can go with Go. We are going to be learning Go initially. So we're learning Python, C, and then Go with Boot.dev. But if you were down for a whole lot of new concepts, then Rust is a great choice. Maybe eventually we learn Rust. We got a long ways to go with Boot.dev, for sure. Makes me chuckle a little when a bunch of React Andes are making a fuss about SSR when it's not even a new thing. HTML templating was a default way back in the day. HMX is a really cool thing, very based. So you're saying like front end developers are like loving the new, like a lot of the SSR iterations. Again, it's just like they're just solutions that solve problems that SPAs cause. That's why I'm not interested in them. They're not interesting problems to solve. I agree. I don't think it's a replacement for it at all. It's just another tool in my toolbox as a backend developer. Yep, 100%. Mainly use it for simple internal tools. And I'm guilty of it. I would toss React into every application, but I do think it's healthy to use React for every application if you're trying to become a front end or full stack developer. Right? You just do it. A lot of apps don't need it. You just do it. But if you don't need it, don't do it. Let's be realistic. Even if you are full stack, you can lean into one side or the other with all great tools. You can go back end and then add some front end familiarity. It depends on the jig. It really depends because full stack can lean heavy front end with a little back end. It can lean either way where like you need to be good with JavaScript and CSS or you need to be good with back end. All right. That was a good stream. I think I want to grab something to eat. Monday. So the schedule might change next week, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do like learning with Boot.dev and then we switch to Angular, or we do like 2 days out of the week where we learn Boot.dev, and 2 days out of the week where we learn Angular and work on Twitch Sprout. So I think initially we're going to be diving into Angular and learning it. I think we're probably just going to use the website because I don't really want to worry about copyrighted stuff. I know there are probably better courses than that, but let's just look at the documentation and kind of just piece it together and kind of build up our front end with Twitch Sprout as we continue to go through the main Angular website. And if it becomes difficult, because I hear Angular is more difficult, seems like it's been simplified quite a bit, but then, I'll spend some extra time outside of the live streams and what is it? Maximilia, is that his name? Or I don't know who. But there is a popular Angular course on Udemy by Max someone, and maybe I go through that in private. Gotcha, Jake. Gotcha. But yeah, that's I'll post it in Discord. So I'll post an announcement what the new schedule is going to be. And yeah, I don't know. I'll decide. Anyways, thanks. Good conversation. I appreciate. I actually love that a lot of you are coming back. I appreciate a lot of the regulars, so it's good to see you guys back. Yeah, I'll see you Monday, 4 p.m. Central Time. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I'm going to go ahead and raid someone on Twitch, I think. But we're going to go offline on YouTube. So, Jeremy, Chris, Commandos, take care. Anyone else that's been lurking, take care. Have a good one. Have a good rest of your weekend, and happy coding.